And so at the last minute, I decided to move to New York. And so that's what brought me to New York, and it was the right decision for me. And because I didn't know anything about children's books, I was talking to friends of mine about what I was going to do, how I was going to learn about children's books at this point as a college graduate without any education in children's literature. And a friend told me that a mutual friend of ours had worked at this children's bookstore called Eeyore's Books for Children on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and maybe that would be a good place for me to learn about children's books. And so I thought that was a great suggestion, and I went to the store, and there was a little sign in the window that said, experienced salesperson wanted, must have an extensive knowledge of, children's literature, and I knew, like, Green Eggs and Ham and Where the Wild Things Are, and that was about it. But I kind of went in with a big smile and introduced myself to the manager, and he, gave me a quiz that he gave all prospective employees, and I, totally failed it. And he could see how sort of heartbroken I was. And he said, well, just go out and study and learn some more books and come back, which I found out later he actually told to a lot of people, and no one ever came back. But I came back. I went out and I studied, and maybe I knew, I was able to name a few more. But I think the fact that I came back impressed upon him that this was something I was serious about. And so he hired me. His name is Steve Gack, and he was the manager at this store at the time. And he's now an editor at Green Willow, and he's really fantastic. And he grew up in a children's bookstore, so he knew everything about children's literature. And every day he would send me home with bags of books, and that was really my education in children's literature, because Steve has amazing taste. He knows everything. And so I would go home with all of his favorite books, and then I would read all of these books, because customers would come in and they'd be like, oh, I'm looking for that book, and there's the highway, and there's a house, and we're like, oh, you're looking for The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton, that's right over here. So we really had to know what the books were, and we had to be able to recommend books. And so reading those hundreds and hundreds of books over the first couple of months while I was there showed me what children's literature was capable of. And I remembered this project I had done in school about a kid who gets to meet Houdini, and it wasn't written for kids originally, but I found it in my closet and rewrote it and added some pictures and showed it to Steve, just because I wanted his opinion, because he knew everything and was really smart. And he really liked it, and he said, oh, my girlfriend is the Manhattan sales rep for Random House. Would you like me to show it to her? And I was like, no, I didn't know that, and that would be great. And he showed it to her. In the meantime, I sent it out to a bunch of different publishers, but the editor at Random House really liked it and said she would publish it. And so the book came out while I was working still at Eeyore's Books for Children. So it was very fun to be a bookseller and having a book for sale in the store. So customers would come in and say that they were looking for a good book for a 10-year-old, and I'd say, oh, I happen to have the perfect book right here, The Houdini Box by Brian Selznick. And so it was being at that store and reading all of those books that really got me jump-started and got me understanding what you can do between the covers of a book.